So welcome back to more designing lessons for interactive whiteboard. This part I'm continuing talking about lessons that use experience to help convey the material. And this next example is a little more complicated, so I wanted a little more time. This is essentially a pretty simple game that uses hyperlinks to help students get immediate feedback. It also uses what's called leveling, which is I give them a little bit of information, they work out a challenge, and then they get some more information, and they get a little harder challenge. So the background is we're talking about what are called telomeres, and this is based off of the book The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And telomeres are what we think makes her cells last longer. They have a higher concentration of telomeres, and so this is a game that would help us learn what those are. So we start off by hearing from Carol Greider, who is the person who discovered this, and she discovered it on a Christmas day, and after she figured out what it was, she went home and she listened to Bruce Springsteen. So that's why Bruce Springsteen will pop up. So let's get started. So we know the problem was with DNA replication, but where to begin? So first we're going to review what DNA replication is. Students should at this point have learned what base pairs match. And so we need a base pair that matches to adenine, which is A. And the right answer will point to the correct test tube. So everyone knows that A matches with T, right? So this tells us that we need to click on this test tube. And sure enough, that is right. Adenine forms a base pair with thymine. Click on that to continue. And we need something that pairs with cytosine. I know it's G, but let's say, for example, that I picked the wrong one. And it pointed me to that tube. Then it would tell me that I was incorrect. So it gives me immediate response that that was the incorrect answer. And then I can go back and try again. So let's pretend I had a T. I said, oops, that was wrong. I'll try now with G. That points at this tube. And I'll continue. Once again, I am awesome, and I got the correct answer, so I can move on to the next challenge. Carol Greider says, well done. Now that we know how base pairs match, we need to split the DNA. So I'm going to pause that. That just starts a video that I embedded on this slide that talks about how DNA replicates. So this gives us some much more information about how DNA replicates. And after I watch that, I go on to the next challenge. And one of the things it does is, when it replicates, it matches up what are called Okazaki fragments, which are chunks of DNA, or chunks of base pairs. So now, I don't just have to match one-to-one base pair, I have to match the chunks with the right chunks. So, since they're in groups of 3, G, C, and T will match up with C, G, and A. Let's move that up there. GAG matches with CTC. GGG matches with CCC. TGG matches with ACC. And GTG matches with CAC. And look, there's my link to the next slide. Once again, these are just hyperlinked. When I click on this object and I say, when you go to this object, don't go to the next slide, go to this particular slide that I'm telling you about. Alright, so once again we get congratulations for meeting that challenge. And if I develop this further, it would give us some more information and then another challenge based on that information. But I ran out of time, so instead I just have a picture of Bruce Springsteen. And you could click on that and you would play the song Born in the USA, which is what Carol Greider listened to after she figured out how telomeres work. And so that's a quick game that uses internal hyperlinks to teach students and reward them for the knowledge. Once again, the instructor doesn't need to be involved. Since there's a built-in feedback mechanism, it works independently of the instructor.